If by some twist of fate, I, Syeda Aisha Maaz, were to become the Prime Minister of India, I wouldn't begin with grand speeches or catchy slogans. I would begin with silence. And in that silence, I would listen. Listen to the voices too often forgotten, to children growing up in conflicts, to girls constantly told that they're too loud, too ambitious, or just not enough, to neighbors we've been conditioned to fear. My vision isn't confined to India. It stretches across South Asia, our shared home. A home with many rooms, many stories, many scars, but most importantly, shared dreams. If I were Prime Minister, my first promise wouldn't be to rewrite history, but to reimagine the future. A future where borders don't bleed, where children don't grow up learning mistrust before mathematics, where nations rise, not at the cost of each other, but with each other. I may only be 15, but vision isn't limited by age. It's guided by values. And my values are peace over power, progress over politics, and people over prejudice. We need to look beyond the headlines and remember the quiet heroes who shaped our region with courage and compassion. Admiral Ramdas, former Chief of the Indian Navy, chose peace over provocation. He reminded us that true strength lies not in preparing for war, but in preventing it. Karamat Ali, a trade unionist from Pakistan, didn't divide with flags, he united with dialogue. These are not just names, they are reminders that South Asia has always had people brave enough to believe in peace. It is time we start leading with their courage and not just commemorating it. As Prime Minister, my top priority would be children, not as an afterthought, but as the center of every policy. Because children are not just tomorrow's leaders, they are actively shaping today. Their education, their well-being, their mental health are not acts of charity, but rather investments into our own future. I would initiate cross-border collaborations, not just for textbooks and tests, but for cultural innovation, climate exchanges, and digital learning. Because, as Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, India's first education minister, said, the real hope of India lies in her youth. So when a student in Hyderabad and another in Dhaka collaborate over a science project over a video call, walls begin to crumble. We begin to see each other not as threats, but as reflections. Although I would have 5 years, like any Prime Minister, I wouldn't spend those 5 years chasing legacy. I'd spend them planting seeds. Seeds of compassion, of regional cooperation, seeds of curiosity, so that a child in Kabul and one in Kolkata grew up knowing more about each other's foods and festivals rather than each other's fears. Because here's the truth. A flood in Pakistan doesn't stop at a border. A heat wave in India doesn't need a passport. Climate change is the most urgent, borderless threat of our time, and if we don't act together, we fall together. Economically, I would replace tension with trade. Imagine a region where the spices of Kerala, the weaves of Dhaka, the carpets of Kabul, and the tea of Sri Lanka move freely, carried not by conflict but by collaboration. Where artisans, farmers, and small businesses build ties politics never could. People often say to me, you're just a teenager, what do you know about diplomacy? Well, here's what I know. War doesn't just break borders, it breaks families. When a child cries in Colombo or in Kashmir, it sounds the same either way. Peace isn't a treaty on paper, it's how we treat each other in real life. And I know this too. A 15-year-old girl like me in Lahore, in Kathmandu, in Thimphu probably thinks about the same things that I do. Grades, memes, friends, music, fitting in, etc. We may speak different languages, but our dreams speak one. So yes, if I were Prime Minister, I wouldn't focus on who gets the last word. I'd focus on who feels heard, who feels safe, who feels included. I'd remind every child, from Delhi to Dhaka, from Kathmandu to Karachi, that we belong to more than a nation. We belong to each other. I know I'm just 15, but maybe that's exactly why I believe this is possible. I haven't learned how to give up yet. I haven't accepted that the past must change the future, and I won't. Thank you.